Anyways, this is my spoiler review on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So, again, if you have not seen the video, I mean, sorry. If you have not seen the movie, stay away from this video now. You have been warned. So, to jump into the spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So, the opening of the film starts very, very hard. It just hits very hard, you know. It shows us Shuri running around the lab in a frantic panic. She's trying to save her brother because her brother's apparently fallen ill to an undisclosed illness, and she's trying to recreate the herb to save him. You know, the computer keeps telling her, like, this isn't, it's not a good enough percentage to actually make a good replication of the herb. And she keeps trying, and then the mom comes in and is like, he's gone. T'Challa's dead. So, again, that'll be the first moment in the movie that will make you cry. Very hard. And then after that, straight just funeral. Right after that. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about, on whether or not, the whole funeral scene was actually even necessary for the film, some people just expect these characters, to just move on straight after that, just mourn for a little bit and then get back to work. I'm like, no, people, this is not how this works. This is not how this works, okay? Especially with them. All right? And everybody keeps thinking like, oh, they should have just recasted T'Challa. And I'm like, no. You don't recast a character like this. Especially when it was played by somebody like Chadwick Boseman. Like, you don't recast a character that a man like him played, Like, this guy left behind such a legacy that cannot just be oversighted and overlooked and just be recasted with an entirely other person. Like, no, y'all don't do that. That's not what's best. That's not what's best for everything. Might be best for y'all, but no, it's not what's best for his memory. There's a lot of people out there nowadays that are just man babies. That they're gonna complain about everything. They're gonna complain about everything underneath the sun. Everything is woke, and there's gonna come the moment where where they're gonna step on that pedestal and fucking bitch about everything. But yeah, it's like, no, you don't recast T'Challa. Like, you find a way to move on. You grieve at the end of the day. You take the time that you need to grieve, and then eventually you move on. So, anyways, back to it. Spoilers. So yeah, after that immediate funeral, then just, the title on the screen, the Marvel logo on the screen just goes, and then, yeah, instant silence. Probably one of the most haunting silences ever. Like, I think this is actually the second time that they have actually put a silent logo in a Marvel movie ever, if I'm not mistaken. And the logo itself just shows nothing but Chadwick's best moments. And then cut to 1 year later. And then now the UN, the United Nations is still trying to get Wakanda to open its doors and let them share the virus. The world at this time is still struggling to deal with the fallout from the snap. People are still trying to pick up the pieces of that, and so is Wakanda. You got to realize it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years. After Thanos came to Wakanda the first time, and managed to get all the stones and snap away half the universe. T'Challa was unfortunately one of the victims of the snap, and then coming back 5 years later. During that time, Wakanda was left without a protector. The throne was left unfilled for 5 years. And it's heartbreaking to, for their protector to come back after being in a forced death after 5 years, and then to be snapped back again, to come back, and then for them to just lose him again to an illness. So, and of course, the world, the United Nations is gonna make a stupid ass move and try to make a move on one of Wakanda's research facilities on the border, and try to steal the vibranium for themselves. But yeah, Queen Ramona ain't having that. These mercenaries, they try to come and steal the vibranium, and they just they ain't having that. Okoye and the rest of the Dora Milaje, they come in and they just fuck up all the mercenaries. What I thought was pretty badass is that when Queen Ramona's in there talking to the United Nations, she looks at the door, and then in walks the Dora Milaje with the mercenaries, and kneels them right in front of the United Nations, and be like, I'm not having this shit. Y'all fuck with us again, and yeah, the consequences are gonna be heavier. I'm gonna show you the benefit of the doubt this time. But y'all fuck with us again, it ain't gonna go smoothly next time. So, yeah, then cut to this ship that's in the Atlantic. Apparently, this crew on this ship has somehow found a machine within the Atlantic Ocean that has detected another source of vibranium. When everybody thought the only vibranium that was on Earth was only in Wakanda, but turns out there was another meteor that came to Earth and just landed in the ocean and spewed the vibranium underneath the Atlantic. So now the machine has found another source of vibranium. This crew goes down to investigate, and then they find the machine, but then, shit just goes fucking sideways. Everything around them starts to go dark. Only one light around them is there, and then, yeah, that's when the baddies come in. There are these group of people that can live and breathe underwater, and yeah, they start coming up from the surface to fuck everybody up on the ship. They're these I don't know, sirens. They start hypnotizing people. People start going off the edge of the ship. you know, and this one agent just, tries to shoot as many of these violently, and then they crash in the water. And the screen pinpoints above to somebody up there just like levitating in the sky. Like that bit alone is just haunting. And then cut back to Wakanda again. Shows the Queen and Okoye returning back home from dealing with the United Nations, and then them convening in the council room where the throne is at, talking about what they're going to do next if they have another incursion with the Americans, and them trying to steal their vibranium. And then cut back down to Shuri's lab, where the Queen goes down to try to talk to her. And Shuri's just still hard at work trying to create stuff. And her mother's just like, I need to get this child out of here. And they go on. After that, they go on a bit of a walk to this lake area. And her mom tries to get her to burn the funeral garbs as a way of saying, like, this is it. This is the stepping stone of accepting that the loved ones are now at peace in the spiritual realm, and they are at peace. And Shuri's still living in denial. She doesn't want to do it. She's angry. She hates herself for not being able to save her brother. She hates herself for having the gifts and the knowledge that she does, and the smarts that she does, that she was meant to by the ancestors. Like, she questions, like, why was I given these gifts if I couldn't save him? If I couldn't do this one thing, why am I special? She's angry at the world. She wants to burn the world down for what's happened. And her and her mom have another heart-to-heart moment. And then, of course, the animals get startled, and then the main baddie shows up himself. Namor, the Submarinian. He introduces himself to the Queen and Princess Shuri. And he's looking around, and he's like, this place is beautiful. Like, I've heard stories about this place. And Queen Ramona's trying to get answers about who he is, and he's like, I have many names. Some call me Kukulkan, but my enemies call me Namor. And he claims that there's this scientist out there that created the machine that is fucking with the ocean, and that he wants this scientist brought to him so that he can kill them. And then he goes back into the ocean after talking to them, like, just gone. And then the Queen has to consider on whether or not the proposal that Namor gave them, like, is even worth their time. You know, and look, I just want to get into Namor. Like, this guy, this guy is probably maybe one of the most reasonable villains in the MCU. Like, oh, guys, keep in mind though. I'm gonna get into this later. Yeah. So yeah, like this guy is probably the most reasonable villain in the MCU. Like, this guy, he's a bit of, he's a dick, but he's reasonable. Like, he's got his reasons for doing what he does. You know, like y'all got y'all's people, I got mine to protect. So yeah, they considered the offer. They're gonna go try to find the scientist, and apparently the scientist is being watched by the CIA. And for creating the machine. And then so Queen Ramona goes back down to the lab where Shuri's working on trying to figure out who exactly created the machine and all the tech and all the tech inside. And Queen Ramona speaks to Okoye like we need to consider this offer. And then Okoye's like, let me get her out of here. Let me take Shuri with me, my queen. And Queen Ramona's like, no, out of the question. And Okoye's like, if I get her out, maybe this will do her some good. So then Okoye and Shuri leave Wakanda to go to Massachusetts. To an MIT college, and this is where we get into the introduction of Miss Riri Williams. Now, Riri, she is a bit of a spunky 19-year-old, very, very smart black girl. Like, you can see a lot of Tony Stark within her, because she I mean, I could see a lot of the smart ass with assness of Tony Stark within her. She you will love her, like the dialogue that she had for her, the dialogue that this character had was very good. Now, I will admit, some of it just felt a little too forced, and it felt just a little cheesy. But overall, like, I enjoyed her character. She was funny. So yeah, they Okoye and Shuri realized that, like, the scientist is a kid. And then Shuri's like, give me 5 minutes with her. Let me talk to her. And Okoye is just like, 5 minutes, no longer than that. So then Shuri walks into the campus, knocks on the door, and then Riri opens the door, and she's like, "You're..." And then Shuri walks in. Emma walks in the door. Riri's like, "Princess Shuri, like, what are you doing here?" She's like, "Holy shit, am I getting recruited?" Shuri's like, "No. Like, I'm here because I need your help." And Shuri's talking about the machine, and Riri's like, "No, I just did that man, I just did that for my school. And Shuri's like, school project. Like, yeah. Shuri's like, a school project? Riri's like, yeah. Yeah. And she goes on about her professors, giving her crap. And then I just found out this detail earlier. She then proceeds to say, like, to be young, gifted, and black. Apparently, Chadwick said the same thing in a awards ceremony when he was asked the question. So I forgot about that detail. I didn't even pay attention to that detail until I found out in the video earlier. And then Shuri's talking about, like, look, I need to get you out of here because there is somebody that's after you that wants to kill you. I can't let that happen. You need to come with me. And Riri's like, I've got a class in 15 minutes. I can't go. And Riri's like, okay. Look, just you wait right here. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, get what I need. And then when she proceeds to the bathroom, Okoye steps out of the door. And Shuri's like, it's like, I had this under control. And Okoye's like, man, I gave you 5, like, man, you said 5 minutes. I gave you 6. And then Riri is getting defensive of Okoye. And then Okoye is just, is like, you have 2 options here. You can leave. You can leave with us conscious or unconscious. And I've laughed my ass off at this scene. And Riri's like, you need to be conscious about the way you look, walking around with all that ash on your head. And Shuri laughs a little bit, and Okoye's like, oh, you think it's funny? And then they cut to and then I think they cut to this garage area, where Riri spends most of her time working on stuff. Like this garage area could pass off as pretty Iron Man worthy. Like, she has all this tech set up. She's got a bike, a car, which is their dad's car. They she keeps explaining about all this tech, and she's like, and Okoye is like, you keep a record of this machine on your laptop, and she's like, I got a shit ton of terabyte data on this thing. It's like my life's work in here. And then Shuri looks at some of the blueprints on the board, and she's like, what is this you're building? And Riri's like, I told you not to touch anything. And then all of a sudden, the CIA shows up. And the police. They're trying to take back Riri. So then they're scrambling, just, try to get out of there. And then Riri goes to destroy the blueprints to her invention that she's got hanging on the roof. Well, hanging on the ceiling. And then she brings it down and is like, I've been working on this for a long time. And eventually when they get up out of there, when Okoye and Shuri get up out of there, the CIA breaches the door, and then turns out Riri has made a prototype version of her own Iron Man suit. Which I thought was pretty fucking cool. Like, the way it was designed, the prototype was just looking so amazing. Looks so cool. Her flying around, just having, man, just having an awesome time, which I thought was such a cute moment. And then they're trying to escape. They get to the bridge, and then that's when the ocean people attack again, and this time they bring whales as transportation, and then they get up on the bridge, and that's our introduction into the character, which of course I know a lot of huge Marvel fans know as Attuma. That's pronounced Attuma. Now these water people are a city called Tolucan. So they're up on the bridge. They're up on the bridge, and Okoye is about ready to fight Attuma. The others handle the American authorities. Okoye and Attuma fight, while Riri and Shuri are on the ground, unconscious. And then, and then eventually Shuri wakes up, and she's trying to plead with the Tolucans, like, do not bring harm to this girl. Take me and her with you. So the Tolucans agree. They take Shuri and Riri to Namor. And and then Queen Ramona hears about this, and she's not too happy, and she has it out with Okoye, and like, I can't let this stand. You're going to be stripped of your title and your rank. And Okoye is begging with her, like, don't do this. Like, I'm the tip of the spear of this army. And then Ramona just breaks out into emotion. Like, she's screaming, like, I'm the queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family has now been stripped away from me. Have I not given everything? And Okoye leaves. And then I think, if I remember, it cuts back to the cave that Shuri and Riri have been brought to, and they're trying to figure out, like, where in the world are we? And then the Tolucans bring Shuri this robe for her, and tell her, like, Namor wants to see you. So Shuri goes to talk with Namor. He has a talk with her. Gives him, like, his background history. And he explains that his people were once from Mayan heritage, and they lived in this this place that had, like, I don't know, like, this ocean surface place that had this beach area with this pyramid temple, and they apparently found some vibranium, and they were trying to use it to their means. To save their tribe, because their tribe apparently had been had been brought an illness, which is now known as the smallpox to them. So once they found the vibranium, they wanted to use it to their means to actually save their people. And at the time, Namor's mother was pregnant with him, and of course, she felt like using this vibranium would be harmful against her baby, and she's like, "No, I won't do this. I won't do this. Not for my baby." But eventually, she has to. She takes the, she drinks the vibranium. They all do, but then shit goes horribly wrong. They all die. But then they reawaken as if they didn't die, but their skin changes blue, and they're unable to breathe on land. They go to the ocean, and they're able to, survive out there in the ocean. And then, that's when they find this underwater city, and they make it their home, and eventually Namor is born. But the side effects from the drinking of the vibranium didn't affect him, but it affected his mother. As she aged rapidly, he aged slower. So she died while he was left to lead his people. So eventually he comes across slavery, frees the slaves, burns the slave farm, and then this priest curses him and gives him the name Namor, meaning a child with no love for the surface world, as I believe it was said. And then he talks a little bit more to Shuri, and then Shuri's like, "I want to see this city. I want to see your home." So he kind of jokes with her for a little bit, but then he allows her to come to Lucan, shows her his home. And I just got to tell you, the scenery in this underwater scene is beautiful. Beautiful. Everything about it is just beautiful. And then I think it cuts to back to Queen Ramona, trying to figure out a way to get Shuri back. And then we get reintroduced back to another character that we know and love. T'Challa's love interest, Nakia, who now is apparently helping kids in Haiti. Queen Ramona comes to her. They have a heart-to-heart moment. She talks about the passing of T'Challa. And Nakia is just like, I had my reasons for not being there for when it happened. And then she asks about Shuri, and then Ramona's like, Shuri's been taken. And then, they talk more, and then Nakia goes back to Wakanda with Queen Ramona to try to figure out exactly where Shuri is. Then they pinpoint her location, and then Nakia goes after her. And then Shuri's having a talk, just sitting in the cave. She's having a talk with Namor. They have a bit of a disagreement between what to do about the scientists. Namor still wants to kill her. Shuri doesn't want that, she wants to find a peaceful solution. Um, yeah, but anyways, this is gonna be part one of my spoiler review. So yeah, basically that sums up the first half of the movie.